Well, hey, good day there, everybody. This is Joe, and just a little vlog-style video just to let you know what's been going on with my life. Oh, did I say vlog? Oops. No, this is not a vlog. Well, one of the things I've been working on is I've been wanting to get some rechargeable batteries for my two thermal typewriters. I have the Brother EP20 and the Canon TypeStar. And they both take 4 D-cell batteries. I've been using disposable alkaline cells, and they've lasted. I haven't had to change them at all, replace them at all. But I thought it would be kind of cool to have rechargeables. One reason is because the Canon TypeStar will recharge NiCad batteries internally. So I thought, okay, well, so I bought me an 8-pack of NiCad batteries, and I also bought this charger. This is I think I got it off Amazon, EBL brand LCD Smart Quick Universal Charger. It charges NiCads, and also I think it does nickel metal hydride. Also. But I wanted to use specifically NiCads because the Canon will recharge NiCads internally. So I did a video last week talking about the sheets of letter size thermal paper that I was able to find online. I have a Staples office supply store within about a mile of my house, and I went on their website and they did advertise, I think it was a 4 or a 6-pack of 8.5-inch wide rolls of thermal fax paper, and for a better price than what I was buying the 2-pack rolls online for. And so I did a quick search and I found that my local Staples supposedly has them in stock, and so I thought to myself, I need to continue using the roll paper as well as the sheet paper. There's an advantage to both. I think the letter size sheets of thermal paper are really great for when you want a formal size letter size sheet. But the thing about the roll paper is it really helps you, at least it helps me, in this stream of consciousness writing, because I don't have to worry about stopping to change the paper. And because the thermal paper, the sheet paper is in a special pack, a cardboard pack that kind of protects it. It is kind of a hassle to change the paper out every time. But what I wanted to do is make a little box-like dispenser container for the fax paper rolls to protect the paper. This thicker Brother brand fax paper tends to show marks real easy. If you put some pressure on it, it'll show the creases and everything. So this was a real simple project made out of scrap wood, and the one feature is it uses a 3/8-inch diameter brass rod, and it just press fits through a 3/8 holes in the side here. So when you want to replace the paper, you just take a pin or something, a pin cap, and you can push this rod through, pull it out, and change the roll. But it's nice because you can just set this box behind your typewriter and just pull it out like that and use it, and then you can actually tear off the paper using the edge of the wooden box. So just a quick little project I put together, but being as how it was made of thin plywood, I had to use power tools to put it together. So I'm actually going to build another one of these out of cardboard, and I'll make a video about it. But it's pretty simple to do. It's just built for an 8.5-inch wide roll. I have about a 3/4-inch gap, 3/8 on each side, and it's deep enough, and I position the rod enough so that with a full roll of paper, it won't drag on the bottom of the box. It just sits there. So anyway, that's the thermal fax paper, thermal typewriter thing. So you might be aware of my little evolving design of my paper roll holder. This is a holder that uses these 2.25-inch wide rolls of adding machine paper, and it dispenses the paper through the back, around the bottom, underneath the feet, through these little brass guides, and underneath the guides on top, and it gives you a writing surface here. And I'm just rolling up the used paper, and I'm saving it. And what I've done with past rolls, when they're completely done, is I've bound them into a little homemade book. And so what I do is I take the strip of paper and I accordion fold it, right, to make an accordion type fold, and then I glue bind one edge of it onto, well, in this case I'm using a fly leaf of parchment paper, and then I glue that to a homemade cover. The cover's made of cardboard and some spare cloth, like a spare t-shirt, cotton material. This first book I made, it was okay. It's actually okay, but I used regular white glue, like Elmer's kind of craft glue, and that glue dries kind of hard. Now, there is kind of a foldable spine here because of this paper on the edge that I used to bind the two flyleaves together, but more recently, I made a second one. My second roll got used up, and so I did it pretty much the same way, except I'm using the bookbinding glue. And so it worked out a little bit better. It's a little more flexible. I was going through this book this morning, and it's kind of fun when you have a record of all these miscellaneous notes that you've taken. I noticed there's stuff in here that I really need to reread on here. There's notes about video ideas for this channel. I usually, when I have an idea, I will write it down in the book. So I put a bookmark in here for a couple of these things. And this was written back on November 21st, 2018. The less a novice knows about typewriters, the more magic they become. I thought that's a really cool quote. I don't know who said it. Maybe I heard somebody say it. Arthur C. Clarke's quote about the higher the technology is, the closer it seems like magic to us. And I think this is a corollary to that idea, right? So this was an idea for a little homemade book that has contact prints, 35 millimeter black and white contact prints, contacted on, let's say, 5 by 7 inch photo paper. And you would have basically a white sheet of unexposed photo paper with a little contact print, and it would be out toward like the edge of the pages, so you could see them real easy. It was just a little idea for that, and then of course sort of homemade, like a little homemade glue-bound hardcover book like that. That was a cool idea. And this is an organization called Soldiers Angels, and this is an organization that gets people to write letters to military troops overseas. And I'm going to try contacting them and getting our little Albuquerque Typewriter Society involved in letter writing. So anyway, there's a lot of little notes here. This is why I like to archive these little notebooks built from my note taker, because there's really some valuable gems in there. What I'm doing on this new roll is I'm simply stamping the date whenever it's a new date, and I'm sitting here with it taking notes. I'll set my little stamp to the current date and stamp it, and so I'm just going to fold it wherever it ends up being folded. If it's in the middle of a sentence or whatever, so be it. That's just the way these little things are. But this new roll of paper I'm using is more of a newspaper quality, kind of a off-white color, and it's also thicker, but the roll is quite a bit bigger also than the older one. So when I finish this and turn it into a book, it's going to be really a nice thick book. It's going to be really cool. But well, I don't normally do a mail time kind of episode, but I haven't really gotten that much mail over the years, except yesterday I got 2 packages. My wife, she thought it was something I bought off Amazon, and then it's like, oh, you're starting to get fan mail. That's kind of strange. So yeah, I got fan mail. This package came from Lee from Chicago, Illinois. Lee, thank you very much. So let's start in on it. I've already unboxed it out of the main box, but this is a, if I'm pronouncing it, Canusa. It is a 35 millimeter camera and film camera. It looks like it's probably a clone of like a Holga kind of a camera on the lens cap. So this has a Holga-esque exposure scale with f-stops. So it goes from rainy to partly cloudy to bright sun to really bright sun, and it also has corresponding f-stops over here, so you know what f-stop you're setting it to. As far as focus, it looks like it's an f6.3 40 millimeter lens at f6.3, and let's see, does the focus separate from it must be a fixed focus lens. I don't see any way to change the focus, so it's probably set to some kind of preset distance, but it uses a clicker type of a winder, real simple winder, and looks like a single shutter speed, just like a Holga, optical window kind of viewfinder. And there's a button in the bottom for rewinding the film and a little tripod bushing there. The shutter button does have a threaded insert for a shutter release cable and a little button on the side to open up the film back. So cool. Camera. Very cool. Well, it came in its own box, and with it is a flash. So this does have a hot shoe. It is hot. There's a little flash in here. How cool is that? I like these little point and shoot film cameras, Holga-esque film cameras, especially ones that are off brands that aren't real Holgas, but something else. Very cool. Okay, so that was that. Now, there's this. Okay, what do we got here? Lubikin. 35mm set for lomography Lubitel. Oh, okay, let's go to that first. Let's see what we got here. This is a Lubitel 166 camera. This is a twin lens reflex, and of course the top lens, you compose the image through the top viewer and you take the picture through the bottom one, and it has a geared focusing between the taking lens and the viewing lens, right? The shutter speed indicator has a little red mark there, but it also indicates on the other side of the barrel the conditions of the sky. So you could kind of use it as a rough kind of a metering system, a guesstimate metering system. Ouch! Ow! And then the bottom adjustment is the f-stop itself. That goes between f22 down to f4.5, wide open. Again, this one up here above it is the shutter speed with a reference for the sky conditions. And then on the right side of the lens, you have a cocking lever and a taking lever. So that you cock the lens there and you take it there. And on the back of the camera is a little chart, exposure guide. There's a viewing window for your frame numbers right here that you can move around for different, I'm assuming different film formats. And there's also a little cover that you can cover up the red window so as to protect the film. So this mask says 6 by 4.5, so it's a 6 by 4.5 mask that goes into the back of the camera like that. So you can shoot 6 by 4.5, and I guess you set the frame counter window, you turn it so you're seeing the other frame numbers for 645, so you can get 15 shots on a 120 roll. Okay, let's take a look and see what's in this box here. I like the box. I just dropped some stuff out of it. So this looks like a mask for shooting 35mm film in this 120 camera. So these little plastic reticles are masks that you put in the viewfinder for use with 35mm film. It helps you frame up your image when you're using it as a 35mm camera. And then the other three parts in this kit are for mounting the 35mm film into the 120 camera. They're adapters enabling you to spool up the film and advance it. Well, Lee, thank you very much for that camera, for these cameras. How cool is that? But we got one more thing, actually several things. We have this big package here. This is, yes, can you read the package? That's right, 126 film. Thank you very much, Lee, for all this. This is so wonderful. Thank you. So another piece of mail I got yesterday was in this box and this letter. That's right, it's from the planet Earth. And this is from RRTM. Do you know who RRTM is? The Right Reverend Ted Monk, hey? Look, the little old wax seal, huh? But anyways, Ted sent me a care package, an internet care package. First of all, a really cool black box that he suggests, and I kind of agree with him, it would actually make a pretty cool pinhole camera project. And when you get a care package from Ted, you get like this, it's like this magic box of all kinds of stuff. Cool little typewritten notes written over a period of time. I love these. This is some kind of little delicate Chinese printed, almost like a newsprint quality tissue paper with some wonderful typings on the back. Such a cool little style that Ted does it in. Oh yeah, a cassette tape. So this is our audio letter, this ongoing tape that we've been doing with some cool stickers, and another tape of some of Ted's old recordings, which I'm going to enjoy. Yes, more typewritten notes there and here. Yes, and look, the Iraqi most wanted playing cards. This is pretty cool. A TI 1200 apparently. Shall we look at this? Let's see here. There. Times. Equals. These early red LED type calculators, they go all the way back to the early 1970s. That was right on the very start of the pocket electronic calculator craze. So it's really cool having this, Ted. I really appreciate it. What a great care package. And I got some audio tapes to listen to, music and talking. And oh, I love the whole package. It's great. Very cool. Thank you, Ted. Care package from Ted Monk. Now I'm going to have to get together my own care package to send back. Very cool. Mail time. That was it. Okay, what else is going on today? Oh yeah, I was working on a typewriter yesterday. Okay, well yesterday I started working on this beauty. This is a Sears Forecast 12, which is their rebranded version of a Smith Corona Galaxy series, the 6 series Smith Corona, and it had some real problems. The main problem he was complaining about was it was skipping. The escapement was skipping, but it actually had a lot more serious issues. It had, the carriage was real rough. It was binding up in places, and I had to do a lot of serious degreasing of the carriage bearings, the rail bearings. And one of the problems that it still has is the rubber platen is actually a little bit wide on both ends, like within about 2 inches of the end. It's kind of swelled up. And so the card guide here down in the middle kind of starts rubbing real close to that platen out on the edges. But for normal size letter size sheets of paper, it's not really too much of a problem. The big problem with this machine, besides the carriage bearings being rough, and I had to use some PB Blaster, some naphtha, and some gun lube to get those bearings to come back into shape. But I spent a lot of time working on the escapement. I had to go into the complex procedure, the 6 series procedure from Ted Monk's reprints of the typewriter repair Bibles. That helped a lot. But it also has this feature of the repeat spacer. And the repeat spacer was not working at all. It would actually just cause the whole carriage to go zip right along there. And so what I ended up doing is it took me a couple hours of working on the repeat spacer to get it working. And I ended up having to, of course, refer to the manual for aligning that. It was kind of tricky, but I got it eventually. A lot of work on it, and it's working pretty good. And I was typing a bunch of stuff late last night, yesterday evening out on the patio, and it works pretty good. I didn't have I don't think any skipping at all. So I think pretty much the problem is fixed. April 28th, Sunday, April 28th, 12 noon at Penny Smith's Paper on Rio Grande Boulevard in Northwest Albuquerque. We're having our Spring 2019 Type-In. It's open to the public. I hope to see all of you guys out there, and we might have some special Typosphere guests coming from out of state to visit us. So that'll be exciting. Remember, April 28th, Sunday, 12 noon, Penny Smith's Paper in Albuquerque. I hope you can make it. Okay, so last week my wife and I went to Santa Fe for a couple of days, and you might have saw a couple of those videos. I took with me 2 typewriters, the Hermes Rocket and the Canon TypeStar thermal typewriter, and I did writings on both thermal paper and on regular paper with the Hermes Rocket. And part of this was an experiment to see if I could get into that creative writing space, that mental space, with the thermal typewriter as easily as I do with good manual typewriters. And I'm thinking that I'm starting to experience a breakthrough with it for mobile writing, especially because there's certain advantages it has. It's very competitive in terms of weight and size with ultra-portable manual typewriters like the Hermes Rocket or the Skywriters. And It is quieter than any manual typewriter, intrinsically quieter. It does have some attributes that really make it a good mobile writing platform for out and about road typing, if you will. And so I'm going to be doing a more detailed comparison between these three typewriters, the Skywriter, the Rocket, and these thermal typewriters in the future, in terms of kind of the ideal public going out and about kind of typewriters. But anyways, I had a good time with that, and I did get a lot of creative writing done. Just a little bit of what's going on in my life, and no, this is not a vlog. You guys stay creative. Have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye for now.